Alright, welcome back everyone, Zaf here to a very important video. As you can see, we have a brand new tier list up top right here. This is for our hunter weapons. The priority in which you should craft them, very important. Don't waste those red tickets because as you've seen, the devs have been pumping out those red tickets for us, giving us so many bonus awards as well. We're playing a game where the devs are super generous, so we have to use our resources accordingly. Make sure to drop a like as well though, if you're enjoying all the freebies the devs are giving us, from summons to resources to everything in between. They are killing things right now, but let's go back to the topic at hand. Which weapons should you craft first? Because as you can see right here, there's just so many weapons to craft for. Which ones are the best? Which ones should you avoid? Which ones are okay that can't wait for crafting? I'll cover all that with you so you don't waste your red tickets because those are not easy to get. But speaking of easy to get, you can actually get free codes by supporting me on Netmarvel's free supporter program. Just go to the link down below, press that support button, and I'm able to send you codes directly, sent to your My Page section of the website. It takes a few hours to receive the codes, but just support, don't think. After a while, you will get the code sent to you directly. I have to do it myself manually. There's a reason why we have the most number of supporters, and we're ranked number 1. That's just because I make sure every single supporter gets their free codes. That way you get all those juicy freebies. And just really quick, thank you everyone who's supporting the channel as well. Your love, your comments, your likes, and your subscriptions mean so much. Thank you again. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you press that button. It means so much. Thank you. And one more there. Thank you so much. And finally, big congrats to Truckgun aka Vasan for being the first commenter on the last 2 videos. Yes, that's right. Here's your shout and enjoy that juicy Discord roll. But really quick, as a disclaimer, make sure you note that these are just my opinions. They're biased based on my gameplay and my experiences, so in the comments let me know, do you agree or disagree with my choices? Would you move someone's weapon up or down? Let me know. Your comments help me build my opinions as well, and helps everyone else know what's best or what's worse. So as you can see from our tier list, we have the Z tier, the ZAF tier aka the best tier, the SS tier, S, A, B, and the SR tier. First off, the SR tier does not mean these weapons are bad. This SR tier is separate because these weapons don't use the same resources to craft the weapon up, so they're in their own separate tier. SR hunters use their own ticket, and honestly speaking, there is only 300 weapons for the SR category that you should craft ASAP that are very good. First off, that being Anna, next up that's Nam, and then Park. That's just because the effects they apply are just so darn good. If we go to Anna's weapon, as you can see right here, it provides a defense decrease, which is very OP. Defense decrease on our hunters is very rare, especially when it does stack, so this is one weapon you have to get. Another weapon that I mentioned earlier was Nam's weapon as well. Nam's weapon is very good because she's one of the better water breakers we have. If you don't have jinwoo, you will be using Nam to break our water targets, so getting her weapon is a plus of course, helps her out. And then we have Park. Park's weapon, although it's not used too much anymore, it still has a very nice effect. If I can find it right here, there we go. Park's weapon at max level provides us an ultimate damage increase to the member on our team with the highest total power by 20%, so not too bad at all. These 2 weapons are useful because the unique effects or because the hunters are good, so make sure don't sleep on them. These are pretty darn good weapons. If you haven't already, the next weapon that's not too bad will be Jinwoo's weapon, but it provides a minuscule gain. It can be used for BOT, don't get me wrong, 3% attack isn't too bad, but not a weapon you should craft ASAP. So that's it for our SR weapons. Let's do our SSRs now. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up and go back down. I'll do it randomly. But first off, we have Dong So's weapon. These brass knuckles right here, apparently a gentle touch. Yeah, it's not a bad weapon per se. It's just because the hunter is not good. That's why his weapon is our B tier. Not when you should craft right now until he receives some buffs. We have Lim's weapon as well. Lim, although he's a good hunter, he's not someone you should be advancing up right now. This is basically a whale hunter. He's good if you're a whale. If you have advanced up, you can get his weapon. He's pretty darn strong if you ask me. If you're a super Giga Chad whale, his weapon does move up here, but right now, for most players in the B tier does go because Lim is just not used. But moving on, we have Hanseme's weapon. Whoa, Hanseme, isn't she a viable hunter? She is, but her weapon is kind of questionable. As you can see when you unlock it, you get a 5% damage taken increase to the target for 4 seconds once one of Hanseme's skills do hit, but look at the max level, that means advancement 5. If we go to max, it's still the same 5% bonus. The duration has increased by 5 seconds, but still, not something you should craft up for, because the damage increase remains the same, the duration has increased, but overall, not a good weapon. It has decent utility, but it's still not that great. If this number here, increase of the advancements, sure, it'd be a very good weapon, but it stays at 5%, so just unlock one copy, that's all you really need. That way you still get the same bonus applied. Now another weapon that's not being used right now is Yuno's weapon. Though this can change depending on how the effect does apply. At A5, it does give a 20% defense increase when his White Flames passive is applied to the target. We're not sure yet if that applies to the entire team. If it does, it can be very viable, especially for the guild boss, because right now, our main damage healers for the guild boss are Thomas Andre and Go, which are both defense scaling units, so that 20% increase can come in clutch, but right now, it is not a weapon you should craft. I'll let you know in the comments down below if that changes, but currently, in the B tier his weapon goes as well. But again, if that defense increase applies to everyone, his weapon does move up to our SS tier for sure. That 20% increase is no joke if it applies to everyone on the team. Now another weapon that's kind of mid right now would have to be Gina's weapon. Gina's weapon is all mana all the time, but it's still not an easy effect to get off. As you can see at A5, she does give a lot of mana, and also, she does give a fire damage increase to the team. But that's a shame because our fire team currently sucks. We have Emma, we have Yoo So-hyun, we have Choi. All these hunters are just not good by themselves. Even on a team, they're not that good at all, so I don't think Gina's weapon is a must right now. Maybe if it changes, maybe if our fire team becomes viable, her weapon will move up, but right now, just not a good weapon to craft. At least not in my eyes. Even the mana bonus, although it's very good for, let's say, the guild boss, it takes way too long to get off, making it not that viable. Now let's see, who else do we have here? We have Maylin's weapon, easily one of the best weapons in the game. In our Z tier it does go. What a phenomenal bonus, a global bonus. Gives it to our entire team. No real conditions besides having our HP meet a certain threshold. Once you have that, everyone enjoys a damage increase, so our weapon is truly one of the best in the game right now. And speaking of one of the best in the game, although Woo is our best windbreaker, his weapon leaves a lot to be desired because it only works for our win teams, and also the activation period is kind of bad, so his weapon is not one you should rush to craft in my eyes. In our A tier does go. We do get 2 copies for free, which is great, but again, not a great weapon. As you can see, only applying to enemies that enter the break state, buffing our win team members' damage, so not the best effect unfortunately. If it was forever, sure, perfect, maybe once you break the target you get it, but right now, just not a good weapon. Now who else do we have here? Let's see. We have Yoo So-hyun's weapon, although she's not a viable hunter yet, her weapon is pretty good. In our SS tier it goes, good damage, good results for her, so her weapon is definitely a must if you have her, and if you want to use her, which right now, most of you aren't using. Which is a good thing of course because she's not really viable as of yet, but maybe in the future, she will be viable. I would say Choi's weapon as well is amazing. That defense decrease is so good for so many game modes, that's why in our SS tier it goes as well. It's kind of expensive, and it's only used in certain game modes of course because Choi is not a solid DPS unit. He's basically a support unit, but his weapon is still very good, so in our SS tier it goes. That 20% defense decrease is just so valuable. But going back down, who else do we have? We have Mirai. Mirai's weapon is fantastic, don't get me wrong. Though we do have new hunters that do kind of steal her limelight, but still, one of those weapons you have to craft ASAP if you want to use her. She's OP in so many game modes, and her weapon provides her ultimate ASAP when you jump into battle, so that's why it is one of our best Z tier weapons, period. I actually do think her weapon comes first for Maylin, even though Maylin's weapon is global. Though up to you, depending on what units you have, Maylin's weapon should come first, or Mirai's weapon, again, depending on your current team comps. Now I just noticed our S tier is looking a bit empty, let's go ahead and fill that up. I do think Emma's weapon does belong there. It is a pretty darn good weapon, but still, fire units right now not being shown much love. Providing more break to our best breaking fire unit is obviously phenomenal, but still, she's not a unit we rush to use anywhere besides, let's say, BOT, or maybe for clearing mobs, but the story mode is just so easy, we don't really need that. She's great for breaking fire units, but again, like I said earlier, not too many fire enemies to face, so her weapon not a must. She's a good unit, but right now her viability isn't there, so in our S tier does go. Now, speaking of the S tier, one more weapon that does deserve a spot in there would have to be Jiwoo's weapon. Jinwoo is unfortunately kind of falling off. She used to be one of our best damage dealers, but right now, she's just not meeting the standard we all had for her before. As you can see, her weapon is all damage all the time, meaning we certainly do not need to pull for a weapon right now. We just need it for the breaks in the water category, but The damage part is just not there, so not viable. A lot of us don't have her anymore because she's not someone we're pulling for actively on our rate-up list. So Nam does replace her for a lot of you. So this weapon right now, although it's very good, is just not one of the top weapons we need in the game unlocked right now. But speaking of a weapon we do need for sure is Go's weapon. Oh my gosh, this weapon is so darn good. In our Z tier it does go. Get it, go Gunny. Anyways, it's one of the best weapons because of the bonuses apply, so make sure you craft it if you have Go. If you don't have Go, what are you doing? Make sure you unlock him. He is one of the best hunters in the game overall. Buffs, breaks, damage, etc. He just does it all. And speaking of does it all, although he doesn't do everything, I would say Thomas Andre, the true king, has one of those weapons you have to craft towards ASAP. I would say right now, he falls into this spot right here, behind or in front of Go. Just because Go is such a global unit, I still think Thomas Andre's weapon should be crafted first. Just because he's so strong, Thomas Andre can carry a team. He doesn't need Go, he doesn't need Min, he doesn't need anyone. He can carry a team by himself, so his weapon is a must as well. Just so darn strong. And since we're talking about strong, another weapon that's really good is Charlotte's weapon. Charlotte's weapon is so good for her, provides her a lot of needed damage to make her viable, of course. So I do want to pop her weapon right here in the Z tier, very viable. Make sure you get it, it'll help you out a lot. That is if you have unlocked, of course. If you don't have a hunter unlocked here, don't craft a weapon, there's no point. Make sure you have him advance up first, and then craft a weapon. I'm sure all of you already know that, but I feel like it needs to be said. The same thing for Alicia's weapon, so good on her. The core attack buff is so OP. She's so good for the brand new game mode. The simulation game mode gives her a lot of needed damage. Her weapon is a must if you have her. There's no real replacement for her when it comes to her SR weapon, so make sure you get it. That is if you use her. If you don't, you can sleep on it for now until you do unlock her because yeah, her weapon is a must to really make your kid shine. Now speaking of shine, one of our light units, we have Min. Min's weapon again is one of those weapons that has a global effect, so you should really craft it. And our Z tier does go. Although Min is kind of falling off as a unit, as a support unit, his weapon still remains true. His weapon is amazing, so one of the better weapons we have to craft up. It is just so darn good. The damage increase it applies, yeah, don't sleep on it. Same with Libor's weapon. So good for so many game modes, that including the guild boss as well, gives our team such a nice damage increase. So another weapon that's popping up in our Z tier. I feel like I should make a new tier at this point. We just have so many Z tier weapons. Overall, all these weapons are really darn good. But enough about our Z tier, let's do our SS tier. Silvermane Yunho's weapon, very strong. Definitely deserves a spot in here. Gives him the damage he does need, but again, Silvermane, although he's one of our strongest EPS units, a lot of you don't use him, a lot of you don't have him unlocked, so no need to rush for his weapon, no need to rush for him as a unit. A lot of us use the twins right now, Harper and Charlotte, so their weapons come first. You don't need Silvermane's, and on the topic of Harper, her weapon moves up all the way here. A very viable weapon does help her out in providing more damage to Charlotte, so don't sleep on it. Another solid weapon, and we have 2 weapons left. I think Illa's weapon is fantastic for her because of the cooldown reduction, but when it comes to a team bonus, I mean, I guess you get a bonus from the ultimate itself. I don't think you should rush to craft it ASAP. It is honestly a very good weapon, and our SS tier does go as well. But again, not with those weapons you want to rush right away. It's a weapon you craft only if you have the correct team comp. And speaking of correct team comp, same thing with Cha. A lot of you don't know this, but Cha was really falling off until Go came into the light. Again, light, play on words, I gotta stop that, but he made Cha viable. Without Go, Cha would honestly not be that viable, but because of Go, her weapon becomes a very viable weapon that you should craft up as well. But based on Thomas Andre being released, maybe not so much. Maybe Cha and her weapon are gonna fall off because we just default to Thomas Andre, but still, her weapon is very good, don't get me wrong. Provides her phenomenal damage bonuses. But yeah, here's our finalized tier list. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Again, this tier list is heavily biased. These are my opinions, of course. You may agree, you may disagree. You might be the biggest fan of Jinwoo or Emma, and you want their weapon moved up to SS, for example. Just let me know. I want to see what you think. That way we form the best opinions on all these weapons. But yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure to drop your like, subscribe to the channel. Your subscriptions mean so much, and also don't forget to support us for free on that Marvel Support Program. If you haven't supported yet, what are you doing? You get free codes by doing so. So press that button right here, and you will get codes sent to you directly. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. That's all I have for you. This is your Code King Zaf, signing out.